What's the story, guys? Welcome to the podcast. Today is also brought to you by CryptoCorns NFTs. Now, yeah, the market's a little bit slow at the moment, but like anything, it's going to bounce back. We're going to put all the details to those guys in the description at the bottom of the podcast. Today, one of our new sponsors, I want to talk about this. So today we are proudly sponsored by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. So their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Guys, clean your ball sack up, okay? Listen, it's the year 2022. There's no more Sasquatches down there, no more tarantulas. Shave that stuff, get it nice and clean. And look, it's got waterproof shavers, so you can go in the shower and shave your ball sack. If you want to get 20% off your order and worldwide shipping, just go to the promo code MarcusD and get 20% off everything that you buy there. And of course, today's episode is proudly fueled by...
In Ireland, the highest form of compliment in any pub is an insult. So I'm considered quite complimentary. Proper number 12, Irish whiskey.
The Marcus Deegan Show. What's the story, guys? Welcome to the podcast here in beautiful Show Creators Studios in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Marcus saying g'day. Thanks for joining us once again. We are back, and I've got another fantastic guest on the show. The great part about being in the podcast industry is that you get to talk to amazing, not only athletes, inspiring people that have been from the lowest lows to the highest highs. I like to talk to people that have a real great background story, and this guy's definitely got one of those. Made his way to Las Vegas to pursue his dream, which is just absolutely sensational to me. 16 wins in his career, but guess what? You know what I'm really impressed by? His street fight victories, 200-0. We're going to talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to the podcast, UFC badass, Daniel Rodriguez. D-Rod, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you very much for coming in. I see you rocking that brand new Monster gear there, looking fresh, dog.
Oh, yeah, shout out to Monster. They just sponsored me, so.
Oh, you just got a sponsor from them?
Yeah. My man's Hans Molenkamp.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. Decided to hook me up, and I'm proud to be a part of the Monster team now.
How does it feel when you're getting these huge brands that want to be part of you and want you to be part of them? It's got to feel real, like a huge accomplishment, right?
Yeah, man, this is major. All athletes know that once you get to the Monster deal is the deal to have. It's the deal you want to get as far as sponsorship goes, especially in the fight game. With the UFC, not being able to wear logos, and now I get that one Monster logo. So I'm happy for that, man.
Yeah, I mean, like when you get something like that, is it extra for you to achieve such a great victory in the sense of the sponsorship when, from where you've come from and from your background, like that's a huge change, right? From your life previous to, well, I mean, I'm sure you've had two different lives, right? The life before you got into professional fighting. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was definitely different, and MMA definitely helped change my life, where it was headed. And, it just also helped build the character that I am today. I just kept it real and kept it 100 with myself, and I'm here now.
So that's funny that you say that. So it helped build the character that you are today. So your past life, you've brought bits of that into your professional life, and is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah, I'd say definitely. When you speak about my past life was definitely before MMA, which is a whole different, where I was headed and just the lifestyle that I was living, and MMA definitely changed that.
Do you think that there's kind of like, you're from LA, right?
Yeah.
Which part of LA?
From San Gabriel Valley. It's like more of like on the eastern side of LA. And
I suppose, living in this environment today, being a young Latin man living in LA, there's a certain persona that people would, throw onto people. You going into jail, and then, obviously the way that you look is, to me, it's fantastic. But people do judge by the way that they look with all of our tattoos.
Yeah.
Getting into the UFC, what have you said that you brought stuff from that life into this. What did you bring into this life? What did you actually pull from your former life?
I think it would definitely be my willingness to fight anybody. And at any given time, you know, growing up the way I did, you know, I in and out of jail as from the juvenile hall system all the way up into the LA County Jail. You know, anything could happen at any given point, you know, and the one thing that I could say that I did bring is my work ethic. You know, being in jail, you know, I worked out hard as hell every single day.
Weights?
No, not really weights. You know, when I was in the juvenile system, I had went to a military style boot camp. And yeah, I was there where you know, I picked up like the hard training methods, and you know, I kind of in my mind, I was trying to be stronger, faster, learn how to fight, and like try to, you know, be down for my shit, you know, and hold my ground. You know, I come from a gang banging background. Both of my parents, both are gang members. You know, so when I was kind of like born into it. You know, I really didn't have a choice. I thought it was cool. All my uncles and everybody was just, you know, all gang members, you know.
It's really like, from where I come from in Australia, it's so different to what it is over here. And just to hear you say that you were kind of born into it, just impresses me so much more that you could get out of it. When did the process start? When you were like, fuck, I got to change this, man. This isn't working for me anymore. Like, when was it? Was there a defining moment at all?
Yeah, I mean, for a long time, it didn't bother me at all, because at the time when I was younger, you know, going to jail was cool.
Yeah.
You know, to me, it was cool. You get your respect. You come out, and everybody respects you, and I was really into that. You know, so me going to jail wasn't like, you know, for a long time. From I was like 15 to about like 22, I was in and out of jail nonstop, man. I'd go to jail for, you know, like 3 months. I'll get out for a week. I'll get caught up in my neighborhood where I'm not supposed to be there, do another 6 months, come out for a month, do another 6 months, you know. So it was like that for a really long time. And, you know, just growing up where I was growing up, it was easy to get in trouble. And you know, I'm really glad and proud of myself that I was able to make it out of that cycle, because a lot of the times people, when they start to get, you know, caught up in the system, it's really hard to get out, because a lot of times it's kind of set up for you to like come back.
Yep.
You know, so I think what really made me want to get out of it is realizing that, you know, like, man, like I would go to jail and I'll see old ass dudes going to jail too. I'm like, man, like that sucks. Like seeing an old ass man and, you know, telling stories like, man, I've been in jail like half my life. I'm like, fuck all that, dog, you know? So it wasn't until like I started having like, you know, when I had my first kid, I was like, all right. Then I started, you know, trying to like get a job and like trying to, you know, do better. And, you know, I actually moved out of the hood and I moved somewhere else, a little bit nicer area, but not too bad, because I found trouble, you know.
Wherever you went.
Yeah, no matter where I go, I just always found it. And, you know, I tried everything. To try to, you know, make my life better. I even tried to go to the military. It was too late. I had too many tattoos and felonies and stuff. I tried every job, you know, and just like I said, I was trying, but you know, at that same time, I was still working out hard as hell every day, because I was programmed to, you know. So I would like just go to LA Fitness, and I remember just, you know, watching. I got out of jail one day, and I saw. My cousin was like, yo, come watch this dude Rampage. This dude Rampage is fucking badass. And it was when he fought Forrest Griffin for the light heavyweight title, and then Forrest Griffin won. And I grew up from a boxing background, so I'm watching this. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this? Because I had seen it like a long time before.
The UFC ages ago, and then you saw it again.
Back when it was like Tank Abbott and all the crazy wild shit, you know, you can only like see when on rented videos from Blockbuster.
Right.
You know? And you know, I just became a fan, and I remember this one day I was working construction in downtown LA, and I used to pass by this gym every day called Tap Out. It was a tap out gym in downtown LA, and I would always pass by, and I had this big ass glass window, and I would just be like right there sitting in traffic, like, man, I want to do that shit, you know, because I felt like I could fight. Like I felt, you know, because back then I had a really cold street reputation of like, knocking motherfuckers out, you know, because I grew up in the hood. That's what we did. Like, I was from somewhere, so when I'll go to like coming up, and I'll go to house parties or fighting after school, or, you know, walking to the liquor store, you know, I was just always scrapping.
And you were never scared. You were never frightened. It was just you were just like a bull. It was who you were, right?
Nah, man. I was like, a lot of people consider me like the downest of my homies. You know, I've been through a lot. You know, I've been jumped a whole bunch of times. You know, just walking down the street, but you know that kind of like turned me a little bit like a lot of people say that when I fight, I seem like so calm and so like relaxed in there, and that's just for me because I've been through way worse shit than just a fight. So for me, it's like second nature kind of situations for me. You know, I know it's just like a one-on-one fight, but the thing that kind of like really changed me is you know, I walked in the gym one day, and it was the coaches. You know, the coaches are the ones that are like, yo, this kid is fucking good, you know, like.
And they said that from the dot?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and the manager there, he was like, yo, we're gonna get you started, because at that point I had just had this raw street fighter, just go fight style, you know. It was just really raw and aggressive.
It's amazing that someone that grew up street fighting could go to a tap out gym, and all of a sudden the coaches are like, see, that's why you were so good. That's why you were knocking all those dudes out, because you had something that, you know, that a lot of people didn't have. What do you think that, apart from, you know, your work ethic and you're willing to fight anyone, were you always fit? Like, were you always like in shape?
Yeah, well, growing up as a kid, I always like enjoyed sports. Like, I'm the oldest of 8 kids, and my mom was like single.
Wow.
And yeah, but I was always into sports. I was like into basketball, and you know, I was the quarterback on the football team, like when I was like 10 or 11. And I'm allowed to say this because you know, it's all good now, but I felt like I was always an athlete. I was just never given the opportunities or like in a stable enough to like go and practice and be on a team and like just be in a normal fucking household, you know. So that like kind of just distracted me from it. But the crazy thing about it is like, even though me and my homies were all like kind of like, you know, we were thugs, you know, we were fucking gangbanging and shit. But we'll be at the park, when we'd be kicking at the park, you know, I'd be like, hey, I'll ball you up at basketball. So we were always like playing basketball. Like my homies had like weights, and like one of my homies had a weight set and all kinds of shit in the back of his gym, and I mean in the back of his house. And that's how we just did it. You know, I come from like a background of like making my homies like go body punches and shit, like kind of sparring, but just when their bodies are like slap boxing and shit. So like when I think about it, like my background, like that's kind of a lot what my background is. Just like I remember like coming up, me and one of my friends were just so competitive with each other. Like we'll run, like yeah, we were like thugged out, but like we'll fucking go run up a mountain and shit and just do, you know, go run up the mountain, smoke a joint, come back down, you know, and just it was weird, because I know a lot of like fools that you know, gangbang or whatever, they're not into that shit, you know.
Yeah.
But my homies were different, because we got in so many fights where like, yo, I was always the one like, look, if we gotta be strong, dog, you're gonna get caught slipping, you gotta like, you know, you gotta be on your toes, fool, you gotta know how to fight. So I would always like try to make my little homies fight each other. I was always the dude that had like a pair of boxing gloves, like in my backpack. I always had a backpack carrying around boxing gloves, and I was a little instigator making fools fight, and you know, and I would try to get my rounds in, you know. So that's kind of like a lot the way I grew up.
That's so awesome. And then when did you like, was the UFC ever in your mindset? Like, was that something that you even thought was achievable, considering that you kind of came from, you know, dysfunctionality, and then all of a sudden you're getting put into, you know, place where everything's kind of, you know, put in place for you? Was the UFC like even in your thoughts?
Not until I started fighting and until I started training. It actually became like an obsession, you know, because I saw it as a way to better my life, like to use what I had, the experience that I had in life, and do something with it, you know. Like I had the heart to go out and do it,
yeah,
and train hard every day, because I already had that. I was just lacking the skills and discipline, you know. And that's something that I learned through the years of MMA, is the discipline. And now I'm like who I am today, which is like I still like, you know, I still carry that thug style, but now I'm in the UFC, you know what I mean? Because I'm just going to keep it real. I'm like the Latin dude from LA.
Yep.
And, you know, that has this background, you know, and I feel like I could relate to a lot of people as far as like, it's not too late, you know, because I was 25 when I first walked in the gym, you know, and up until that, I had no fucking life experience, no martial arts, no nothing other than just fighting.
This is why I wanted to talk to you, man, because a lot of people that listen to this show, my demographic is like males from between 18 and 35. And, you know, once again, I always like to talk about mindset and, you know, your life is set out for you in a certain way if you apply yourself. And this is just a pure example of how that can be done. Someone from the streets of LA that was a gangbanger, not only just a gangbanger, but you were born into that stuff. And then all of a sudden you've changed your life around and you're becoming one of the great stars of the UFC. 16-2.
Yeah.
Those
Those 2 losses are some bullshit though. Like I got robbed.
you want to talk about that?
Actually, it was one in the UFC. I had outstruck the my opponent Nicholas Dalby by like 30 strikes. But you know, looking back at it, I did kind of let my foot off the gas in the 3rd round, and he kind of picked up the pace a little bit. And that was just one of the lessons that I learned in fighting, is to not get comfortable or not think that I'm winning the fight, and just like not let my foot off the gas and then just keep going until that shit is over, because you can't leave it in the hands of the judges. It's true. And, you know, and a loss affects someone's career like in a major way. But fortunately for me, it didn't, because right after that, I got the Mike Perry fight.
Yeah. What was your defining moment in the UFC? Like, what do you think's been your best moment so far?
I feel like every fight I've showed something different.
Yeah.
You know, like my first fight, I was against Tim Means, you know, like
great fighter, great fight.
Yeah, ton of experience, and like just looking at his resume, I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like this is crazy, you know. So that first fight, I proved something to myself, is that like I'm fucking meant for this. I'm meant to be here. This is like, because I remember coming up in the amateurs, I was 7-0, and I told myself, and I really believe this shit. I was like, man, if I lose in the amateurs, this MMA shit is not for me. You know, like I'm like, if I'm as great as I think I am, I'm not gonna fucking lose. You know, and so far, I'm just like proud of myself as far as like the level of fucking athletes that I've been able to fucking beat. Like my last one was Kevin Lee. Before that, I was gonna fight Khabib's cousin, but he ended up getting injured, and it's just like now I'm
Grant.
Yeah. Oh, that Dwight Grant fight.
Oh man, that's one of my favorite fights,
yeah,
because I love that. I love that when someone gets clipped and you think it's over, and then all of a sudden they do the Rocky and come right back. I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I get an internal feeling when I watch that shit. I love it so much.
You don't see that a lot from two guys. I watch that fight over and over all the time, and I'm like, man, I survived. You know, it was looking bad, and you know, luckily the referee did a great fucking job, and you know, I knew that once I got up, I was like, all right, now we're fucking fighting, you know. So
were you in a fog at all? Like, were you in a fog for any amount of time, or you just?
I wasn't. I was just like, all
discombobulated there for a second.
Yeah, no, actually, I was very aware. It's just like he was just being so aggressive and attacking, and it looked really bad because I was trying to like base out, and then he'll pull, and he was hitting, so I'll try to block, and then he'll pull my hips, so he'll keep dragging me down. So it was really hard, but you know, I survived that shit, you know, and that showed, you know, that I got heart too.
Yeah,
you know, and
a chin.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
That's great, because you've won by decision, you've won by submission, and you've won by knockout. Shows that you're an all-rounder. You're actually, I was talking to a buddy of yours the other day, and when he found out that I was interviewing you, he said to me, you're going to have a good time with him. He's a good friend of yours. He said he spent a lot of time with you. I was trying to get him to call in today, but he never got back to me. We spoke yesterday. Cameron Else.
Oh, yeah, Cam. Yeah,
Cam's been here. He sat in that chair right there. And, I mean, he's another great guy who I love, and he's got some amazing stories as well from when he was in the service. And, he had a lot of really great things to say about you.
Oh, yeah. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah, I met him out here, but I had heard about him before from the BMF ranchos. He's a part of the BMF crew.
Right. Well, he's good friends with Cowboy as well, which I know that Cowboy's one of your best mates as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How does it feel hanging around legends like that? Do you get inspiration just talking to that guy, or what?
Yeah, man. I remember my first time meeting him. I was actually like a little starstruck, which I'm rarely, because I remember when I started watching the UFC, Cowboy, I was a fan of Cowboy. You know, I was like, man, that Cowboy guy is fucking dope.
Love that guy.
You know, and you know, like every fan, like a true fan that falls in love with the sport, I look into my fighters, the fighters that I like. I watch all their fights.
Yep.
I watch, so being able to go out there and train with them, and us becoming the friends that we've become is just fucking, it's amazing, dude.
What do you think it is about him that that makes you guys good mates?
He's just a good ass dude, man. He's a dude that likes to have fun. He likes to laugh. You know, he likes to fucking handle business.
Yep.
And you know, I think me and him just hit it off because, you know, our personalities match. You know, I've kind of showed, you know, some so I kind of showed him that, you know, I'm part of the crew.
Yeah.
You know, I want to.
Yeah, Cameron said you three guys have had some fun together.
yeah. No, we've had some good times, definitely,
Yeah.
for sure. And yeah, man, we're just great friends. Love to crack jokes and just.
Yeah. Do
know.
you go out there much to the BMF ranch?
Yeah, I normally do. I haven't been out there because Cowboy's been coming out here. But like now that he's retired, me and some of the BMF crew that's out here, like me, Alejandro Martinez, Yair,
Yep.
Pedro, and some of the other dudes, we plan on going and still being a part of the BMF because, you know, out there it's all focus, you know, and plus there's all the there's ways to train that are unconventional, like the mountain biking, all the fun shit, you know, that Cowboy likes doing. That is actually a great workout, you know.
Do you think it's beneficial, those like weird workouts? Do they help?
Yeah, actually, when we do like surfing, like the wake surfing, that's a crazy ass leg workout.
Yeah, right.
You know, mountain biking, of course, is crazy. Even snowmobiling. Snowmobiling is like one of the hardest shit I've ever done.
Really?
You know? Yeah. It's like it's hard to steer, and then sometimes you get stuck. So you got to like get out
and move
try
around.
to wedge out, and that's the workout part.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But other than that, it's just super fun.
Yeah, I was going to get Cam on, and he was going to tell us about his new hair. You see, he got the new hair done.
Oh,
Did you see that?
I haven't seen it, dude.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. He fixed his hairline. I think
Yeah,
Cowboy's
yeah.
gonna do that too.
Really?
Cowboy's planning on doing that.
I mean, technology these days, you couldn't even tell. Like, I've seen a couple of dudes with the tattooed foreheads, but
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. But I think that the hair transplant would be. Have you thought about that, Ian?
yeah.
No.
No, you got a pretty good set. You got a pretty good head of hair on you. How old are you now, Ian?
54.
54. And how old are you, mate?
I'm 35.
35. Okay, you're still in your prime. You feel that you're in your prime right now?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I am because I feel like a lot of dudes that have been doing this shit longer. Like I feel like I work extra hard because I feel like I have to catch up to all these dudes that have been in martial arts since they were kids. You know.
Yeah.
But at that same time, I feel like I'm not as worn out as those guys.
Right, exactly. Now, injuries. Is there anything specific that always hurts or that you have problems with?
I mean, not really, other than muscle soreness. And then up until recently, my last fight was the only time I ever had an injury, which was like I tore some ligaments in my knuckle. But the thing about that is, like, as I had already fought 2 times before that, so this original injury was during the Mike Perry camp where I injured my finger in wrestling, but I just never.
That's got to be a pain when you injure your finger, right?
Yeah,
you don't
it's really
realize how
hard.
much you use, and especially fighting.
Yeah, so that Mike Perry camp, I had messed up my hand, and then I tore my pec in jiu-jitsu. So like that whole fight camp, I was just jabbing because I couldn't throw a hook because it would.
Yeah.
So I could just jab, and then I was doing a whole bunch of kicks, and then just a bunch of cardio, man, because I knew that I was trying to save my hand and throwing all the heavy stuff for when the fight came in. And that shit actually worked out, man. Most of my fight camps, I'm always working around some kind of injury or something.
Mate, I want to hook you up with something, and like I've had neck surgery and I've had issues with my back and neck my whole life, and I got hooked up with this product, and it's a cryotherapy and it's got CBD. This has been a game changer for me, and the fact that you said you got some muscle injuries and that, I think this is going to be really beneficial to you. This is actually have you heard of this product before?
I actually haven't.
Okay, which is great because now you're going to hear about it and you're not going to forget about it. Bro, you're going to love this stuff. Let me know how it goes. So here's the sprays.
All right.
And there's also a cream as well, which you said, which would probably be good for your knuckle. And there's a little hat that goes along with it. So yeah, so they're one of our proud sponsors here, man. So try that and let me know how that goes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm definitely going to put this to use because I use this shit a lot.
Oh, bro, you're going to love
almost
it.
Every day or every night.
The good thing about this is that it's not just one of those surface sprays. It actually penetrates into the muscle, and the CBD begins to work on the inflammation, which causes the pain. This is guys, I use it every day. I have to on my lower back or my neck, man. Ian, you've used the Tidal spray. Has it helped you a lot too?
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
It's incredible stuff.
And everyone that I've given it to has just been blown away by how great it is. I listened to this story Donald Cerrone was telling about. It was scary when I actually had anxiety when he was telling the story on the Joe Rogan podcast. He was talking about when he went cave diving.
Oh yeah.
Has he told you that story, bro?
Yeah.
And the way he tells the story as well.
I could only imagine, dude. Just like I would never do something like that.
Okay, see there's the thing. You're a badass, right?
Yeah.
You're not scared of any man. You're not scared. You fight in jail. You fight in the UFC, but you would not go cave diving.
I'll be honest with you. I'm saying it now, but when you're in the presence of Cowboy, I think that's why he likes me. I'm always like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Sure. So hanging out with him, man, I've done some shit that I would have probably never done in my lifetime. It also opened my eyes to like a whole different kind of lifestyle. Like, oh shit, life like fucking fun, bro. Like doing shit like that,
riding quads and horses and like different stuff.
So
right?
it kind of turned me on to like a whole different like way of life and way of living. You know, I'm kind of inspired by how he lives, and I'm like telling my wife, I'm like, yo, we should buy like some acres, and just build like on a little ranch kind of vibes,
And the fact that you were kind of shocked at that lifestyle and couldn't believe that you could live a lifestyle like that obviously primarily comes back to how you were brought up. Do you think that you could grab 10 gang members out of a gang in LA that are young like you were and maybe put them into an environment like this? Do you think it would help change them as well?
Man, that's often a thought that crosses my mind. I was actually just talking about it with my management team, that now that I'm in the position that I'm in, and I do carry myself the way I do, like, I feel like I relate to a lot of dudes and that are growing up and kind of like in the same situation that I was when I was in the like juvenile system. And I was talking about it, and what I want to do, I really want to do this, is go back to the juvenile hall that I was at and have a little talk with these little fools and let them know that I was there and I understand that what they're going through. I understand that life's real hard for some of us right now, and some of us are surrounded by all kinds of crazy shit, and I think that if you just like there's a way out of it. There's a way out. Like, you might not think so, but like if you work at it, like you could change your whole life around and shit. You just gotta like be focused on it, and and just don't let nothing distract you and shit.
Bro, I think that not only would you be someone that, I can see you standing in a hall talking to a bunch of disgruntled kids about your experience because, obviously for one, as you said, they can relate to you.
Yeah, because I was really there, so I could be like, man, I was here. And there's a way out of the system. A lot of times I feel like the way the system is set up, like I said, is to come back. For a lot of people, it's hard for them to like try to live a life because, one, they ain't giving jobs to felons. Two, they don't want you to drive. Like, you gotta, like, there are all these kinds of requirements and all kinds of things that they'll violate you right away, throw you right back in. So I would really like to do that, to go to like the juvenile hall system and be like, yo, I made it up out of here. I was in here just like you, but I made a decision when I was a little bit older, but you can make the decision now.
Exactly. And I think that would spark something inside you again. That would maybe set you on an even different course than, maybe someone that's an inspirational talker, someone that can speak to these youths of today and get them in, imagine if someone positive sat down and talked with you like that. Do you think it would have made a difference?
I would have definitely looked at it like, man, that guy fucking cool. You know, he's a UFC fighter, he was in here too, and kids need something like that, man. Yeah. They need something to look up to, because I didn't really have nothing to look up to but other gang members, or dudes that were like doing the wrong things, but to me it was cool, and you can still keep it gangster, but like keep it gangster in the gym, okay, you like just be down for your shit, but in the gym,
be real about it.
Be all about that, but like in the gym to yourself though.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be portrayed in any kind of in a violent way. You don't have to, prove to your homies that you're this badass by doing illegal stuff. You can still be that badass, right? Imagine being a badass in the UFC. It's just I can see you doing that already. I really can, and I think that's something that giving back to, especially the community from where you came from. I think that'd be a great thing.
Yeah, that's something I would like to start working on. I just
Yeah.
need to come in contact with people that can make that happen.
Yeah, well, there you go. We'll put it out there, man. This is the type of thing that I love hearing about. Is like the thing is about these athletes from the UFC. Everyone's so calm, everyone's so generous and willing for to help other people. And I think when you get put in a position of celebrity or power, or if you're an athlete in the biggest organization in the world, not only do I think it's a duty for people to give back, but I think it's something that is good for the soul as well. You know what I mean? And there's some shitty things going on this earth right now, man. I think the devil is prominent on earth right now, man. A lot of bad shit going on, and the only thing you can do is try and combat it by doing good and having love in your heart. Like, did you hear about for instance, the NBA, the women's NBA player that got caught with a weed pen?
Oh yeah,
In Russia.
yeah.
They just gave her 9 years, bro.
That's insane, bro. For a weed pen, and I'm over here smoking joints out like it's nothing.
It was funny when I went to the dispensary the other day. There was a guy that was standing behind me in line, and he's like, "Yeah, see what you guys are doing now?" He goes, "I got 15 years for this back in the day, and now I'm standing in here and I can just go and buy it and know it." Do they let people out of jail now that are in there for that, considering now that it's legal? Do you know?
I think that there's definitely something in the works about people being released. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard something about that. Some dudes are getting released for marijuana charges. I don't think it's too many, because as it is, the jail system is overpacked anyway, so they need to kick people out anyways.
Right.
I think they're really focusing on like a violent offenders or real serious crimes.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose
I've been pulled over with weed, and they don't even care no more.
no, they don't. They don't. And the thing is, like, a lot of people will say, you do the crime, you do the time. She said it was completely unintentional. Can you imagine getting fucking 9 years for a weed pen?
Actually,
bro?
I could understand it being unintentional, because I got in trouble on the Mexican border. I forgot I had a weed pen on the side of my door. Like, I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like, throw everything out, or like I had brought weed, but I left it there. But I forgot about the weed pen. So I got in a big old mess over the weed pen. And luckily they just kept me there at the border like a day, like just
in a cell.
not in a cell, but just like waiting around, searching
Yeah.
my car, just taking forever and yeah. So now every time I cross the Mexican border, they're like, we got to check you.
I saw a video online, and I don't know if it was you. And if it's not you, then correct me on it. But there was a video of you after you got into a altercation with a couple of dudes on the street. You couldn't see you, but you must have just grabbed your pen after you fucked them up.
Yeah.
Your phone after you fucked them up, and your pen.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that? Because that was great.
Oh yeah, man. Actually, that was. Oh, I gotta keep it.
Were you in the UFC then?
Yeah. Well, the story is that one of my baby mamas and my oldest son still live in the neighborhood, So like still have enemies. They still don't like me, and but I know they're still watching,
Of course they are.
I know they're watching. Like, man, that guy whooped my ass. You see? Hell yeah.
Right.
But yeah, there's this dude just harassing my baby mama. So she hit me up and she's like, yeah, he acted like he was gonna hit me the other day. So I was like, okay. So the next morning, I went to his house.
As you do.
Yeah, I went to his house and I was just hanging out there, and I knew what his work truck was, and I slapped one of my stickers on his truck just to let him know, like, yo, I'm around, like,
Which stick is that?
One of my D-Rod stickers.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like my logo kind of thing, but everybody knows. Like, in my hometown, everybody knows who I am. And sure enough, like, I was driving off a little bit, and this car pulls up, and two dudes come running out. I don't even think they know it was me, but right away they wanted some action. So I was like, okay, cool. So I didn't even have to like look for them or anything. It's just two of them. So I pulled off a little bit just so I could have some space to get out the car. He came up, and at first the dude that I was looking for, he was like, yo, nah, it's cool. Like, hey, like, nah. I'm like, nah. I let him know why, and then, I just took flight on him, and then his homie was like some big ass dude, and he was like, at first he was shocked, like what, like, cause he was the one acting crazy at first, but then once he saw that. So the funny thing about it is like we had squared up, and I threw a fucking head kick, and it was funny, like it hit him, but like he looked stunned, like what the fuck just happened, and I started laughing because he was like, whoa, like he did the slow, like
Slow wave, like slowly hit you that one.
yeah, and he went down, and you know, I that was a little kind of like wake up call for me because I can't be doing shit like that, more, and can't be thinking out of anger and like. But at the end of the day,
you can take the boy out of the neighborhood, but you can't take the neighborhood out of the man. You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, I have so much to lose if I get in trouble.
Yeah.
And I just can't putting myself in those situations no more. But, I got to let it be known that, I'm still with it, so I'm not going to let nobody fuck with me or my family.
Right. You are a supreme athlete in the UFC, the biggest fucking organization in the world. So people want a piece of you sometimes, right?
Oh yeah, I get that a lot.
You do get that a lot?
I get that a lot. Especially like when I'm out or anything like that.
When you get recognized by people, you get recognized a lot?
Yeah. There was this one situation where there was this one dude that cool, everything was all cool, and after a while, like I was just like, yo, dog, like chill, like, let me get my space and shit, and I guess he took it the wrong way, because I first off, I didn't even know you, and I'm just like right here in my space chilling and shit, and I don't need you like arm all over me and all over me, and I'm like, yo, dude, like chill out, like we're cool, but I don't know you like that, and he took it the wrong way. He's like, oh man, fuck you, I'll do this and that. So we ended up fighting. I had to whoop his ass. But I'm just saying, dog, like it's dumb how shit happens sometimes, and on the same note, I can't be doing that shit no more because I got a lot to lose, and dudes could get hurt, or I'm more even worried about hurting myself, like hurting my hands, socking some dude on a skull with no anything like that. So I got to be extra careful these days, That's why I don't really go out anymore that much. I just stick to myself and just kick it with a small circle of homies.
That's how it's got to be. I mean, do you get it from fans ever?
Nah, fans are cool for the most part. I love the fans. The fans are the shit. I love it, just being out in public, and every once in a while I get spotted like, hey, D-Rod, It feels good, especially when I'm back home or like when I'm with my kids and they see it and they see someone asking me for an autograph or a picture, I see and I look at their face and they're all proud.
Of course. And you know what it is? It's like when people see you and they want to be close to you, it's because they love who you are and they love your backstory. As a fan myself, and I can probably speak for a lot of fans, we love the backstory, especially when it goes from zero to hero. We love those Rocky stories. We love those coming out of the hood stories. We really, really love that. And you're a fan favorite because of the way that you fucking finish fights, the way that you hold yourself, and also the way that you look. You got all these badass tattoos. We love that as fans. We fucking love seeing that shit. And do you think that your former persona and the way you look is kind of an advantage in the UFC, would you say? Or, I mean, not taking anything away from your skill because you're a fucking great fighter.
I feel like it could be. I feel like as far as like being marketable, I feel like I'm highly marketable in the UFC. Like, they need to open their eyes on that because I feel like not enough people have heard my story. And until they do one of those countdowns or some shit on me, then I feel like the fans are really gonna get behind me. But the ones like the real fans, the true fans, the hardcore fans, they really look into shit like I would look into shit. I'm pretty sure that they know that I'm different.
Yep.
And
you can't fake it to the fans, Dan. That's the thing. You can't fake it to us. We can see fucking straight through it.
I feel like that's one of the reasons why I got this sponsorship deal. I remember it was one time I was over at the BMF ranch and Hans came down and did this interview with Cowboy, and I was just listening. Hans was asking Cowboy all kinds of questions, and I was the only one in the room other than the cameraman. And I remember at the end of it, Hans asks Cowboy, and he asks him. He's like, Hans asked him like, "Yo, is there any questions you want to ask me for?" And ask me anything. And it was weird to me that Cowboy asked, he's like, what would you tell, like, how would someone that's coming up come across getting the Monster sponsorship, And to me, I was like, okay, let me. yeah, exactly. I was like, all right, let me take notes here. Let me
He's gonna say it now.
Yeah, let me take notes. And what Hans had said is like, man, just be original, be yourself. The fans are gonna fucking either love it or not. And that's exactly what I did. I just kept being original to myself. I mean, in my opinion, I am original. There's not many two Latinos from Los Angeles, Mexican, all tatted up with a hood background, and like the way I carry myself, the way I dress is LA. Like the tattoos, it's a culture thing.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not doing it for the look. It's just I love tattoos. Like all my cousins and everyone I grew up with was all tatted up. Like and I love it.
Have you been tattooed here in Vegas?
Yeah, I have. Actually, my face tattoos.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does a lot of people come up and do this?
No. No. I get asked about it a lot, but
yeah. So because I know your chest tattoo is one of your newer ones, right?
Yeah. As of lately, it's been my stomach tattoos.
Yeah.
And I still want to finish my leg and my other leg.
Yeah.
And just my whole stomach.
The stomach hurt, right?
Eventually, I'm gonna come up to the head.
I can do the head.
My mom begged me to not do my face no more, so I was like, all right.
Yeah. Well, it's not too bad. It always looks good with the one in the corner there. My wife won't let me do that ever. She's Mexican too.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna throw a couple of names at you, and then just tell me which one kind of tickles your fancy the most. Gilbert Burns, Khamzat Chimaev, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, or Bilal Muhammad.
What's the question?
What any of those names particularly stand out to you?
What is that? The top 5?
Yep.
Shit, man.
Oh, we're talking down more Jorge Masvidal, Wonderboy Thompson.
Man.
Where are you now? 19th, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
I think it's just due to inactivity.
Underranked as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, maybe the inactivity has a little bit.
It's an inactivity thing, but I'm still up there and I'm actually really curious about my next matchup. I don't think it's going to be one of those guys, but I feel like, all those guys are really good. I feel like a good matchup for me would be any one of those guys. Like
Jorge Masvidal would be a great one.
That'd be a great one because I really respect him.
Yep.
I feel like I see a lot of myself in him with his background. It's just we're from a whole different side of the coast.
Right.
We're on 2 different coasts. I feel like on the Jorge Masvidal of LA though,
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like the Nick or Nate Diaz of Los Angeles,
So are you naming a bunch of my favorite fighters right there. And I'll tell you another Latin fighter who I absolutely love, who's been on this podcast a couple of times, is my man Brandon Moreno. Did you see his performance last week against the Kiwi?
Man, that was an amazing fight, dude. He did great, and man, I saw the pictures of that kick after. That dude is bruised.
Can you explain to the people that are listening or watching what that was a teep kick, right?
No, it was a.
It was?
Yeah, it was a.
Can you tell everyone what does it do to you when it hits you in that part of the body? Like it looks like it just completely shuts you off, right?
Yeah, man. Actually, those are the only times I've been dropped in training. Other than that, I've never been put on the ground other than the Dwight Grant fight.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've never been floored other than a kidney shot. Some are to the front kick. Some could be even a little tap of the toe. It just it's like just a button. And it shuts you down completely. Some people could take it, some people can't.
So it's just as easy to get a TKO by getting kicked in the kidneys.
Yeah.
Wow. 'Cause a lot of people will watch that and they're like, where did that come from? What happened? It was just that you just kicked him in the guts.
Yeah, it just hurts so bad. It's like it's like kind of getting kicked in the nuts.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, Brandon's used to that as well because he's been kicked in the nuts a lot.
He actually got kicked in the nuts that fight, didn't he?
Yep, he got kicked in the nuts that fight. And I remember, I think it was his second fight with Figgy. He got kicked in the nuts twice, real bad. But I'm glad he got his title back, and I'm really happy for him because I just love the Latin fighters. I have a little bit of a special place for Latin fighters in my heart.
Yeah, me too, man. I see these guys. I think I'm really, really excited for Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah, Yair Rodriguez is one of the top guys. I just love watching that kid fight. And you know who else I thought did a really great job was Amanda Nunes came back. Obviously, she had an off night the last time that she fought Julia Pena.
Yeah.
Off night, whether it was an injury or whatever. I'm not sure what it was, or whether it was something, mental. I'm not really sure. But came back in full form. But how tough is Juliana?
Yeah, man. I was saying that to everybody as the fight was going on. Like, man, that girl got heart. she was
Dude.
getting rocked like over and over again and just didn't give up and kept coming. I was excited in those later rounds where she was like picking up and still landing her shots, but Amanda Nunes came prepared that night.
Yeah. So you're a big fight fan. You watch all the pay-per-views as well?
Yeah, I watched most of them for the most part.
Do you watch any of the other promotions? Bellator, One?
Not too much unless I know someone on the card.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watch like a lot of stuff on Fight Pass and stuff.
Yeah.
Too.
What do you do for fun?
For fun, I just kick it at home with my dog, watch movies.
Yeah, I saw you out with your dog, man. That's all I do. I spend time with my dogs.
Yeah, just hang out with my dog, go on run. Like honestly, I don't really have like any hobbies or nothing like
You don't play video games or anything like that?
I mean, I got the whole systems, but I just I'm everything. A lot of stuff that I do and everything I do revolves around fighting somehow, some way.
You drink?
Or like being in shape. Yeah, I drink. I like to go out to restaurants and stuff like that.
Are you a whiskey drinker?
I'm a beer drinker.
Yeah. So you don't drink whiskey?
Yeah, I drink whiskey, I drink tequila, I drink all that shit.
This is one of my favorite parts of the show. This is what I like to call the passing of the proper. I was given this opportunity to give my whiskey, not my whiskey. It's actually Connor's whiskey, but I was given the opportunity to be able to gift all of my guests that come onto this show, that take the time out of their day, that help me with my journey in this industry called podcasting, this industry being an MMA journalist, if you want to call me that. I don't like to use that word because I sometimes I make mistakes. I pronounce the name wrong. Sometimes I'll say the wrong weight class. Sometimes I'll fuck up what UFC, but I'm passionate about the sport and I love it. And I'm just one of those average Joes. So this is, Daniel, I don't know if you tried this, but this was Conor McGregor's whiskey, and they've given me the opportunity to give it to everyone that comes on the show. This is what we like to call the passing of the proper. Brother, this one's for you.
Nice. Thank you.
So you can hit that up whenever you want.
Yeah.
Have you tried that yet?
Yes, sir.
You like it?
Looks like I won't be training today. Hey, no, because I told myself, I was like, I got all my training in early today. I was like, I'm going to do a podcast and just hang out the rest of the day.
Yeah. Did you know you were going to get whiskey today?
I didn't know. So.
Well, there you go. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Yeah, man. So listen, Brad, is there any advice you could give me in life?
Man.
In this industry that I'm trying to, it's just such a hard industry, man. There's so many people doing this. Is there any advice that you could give me?
Man, there is a ton of people doing it. I actually got a little podcast thing going on myself. It's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough to try to like put on a whole production like you guys got going on. I'm sure it takes time.
Yeah, it takes time, and I just wanted it to be special. I wanted it to be a little bit different. And I wanted it to be in a setting like this where people walk in and go, "Fuck, this is a pretty cool studio," and automatically relaxes the guest, and you get to have some pretty decent conversations. And that was what today was about. I wanted to touch on your UFC career, but I also really wanted to find out, about the Daniel Rodriguez before fighting, and I think we got a lot of great stories out of that, and I'm sure everyone will be really, really stunned to listen to it. Is there anything that you want to plug? Are you still with Natural Effects?
Nah, man, but shout out to them though.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stizzy, my weed sponsor, Monster.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Syndicate MMA.
You have a weed sponsor?
Yeah.
How do I get one of those?
Well, honestly, I feel like I got it because I'm always on social media smoking weed, and a lot of people are like, man, you smoke when you train. I'm like, yeah, you know, like I'm the type of person like I'll smoke some weed and I'll go work out like right away.
Yeah.
Or like
some people are like that.
Yeah, or I don't just smoke and I go play video games and shit. Like I'll smoke and I'll go run up a mountain, or I'll go lift some weights, or I'll go do jujitsu. It's kind of like. I kind of got into it through. I started training with Eddie Bravo and them.
Oh yeah.
So everybody smokes before jiu-jitsu. So I kind of like, I kind of like it now. But I can't drink and train.
No. I wouldn't.
This puts me like not in the mood. At all.
Yeah, especially that stuff.
I just want to hang out.
The liquid gold, you love it. So do you know that there's that jiu-jitsu tournament they have here in Vegas? Is it the
High Rollers?
The High Rollers.
Yeah.
Have you competed in that?
I've competed in that once. Yeah.
How'd you go?
I got what's that shit? Ankle lock, knee bar, shit like that. I hate those. I fucking hate those, bro. Submit me like a man.
Yeah. Choke me out.
Yeah.
Don't twist my ankle like that.
So the last one actually, I was did some commentary on the fights.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
pretty
think one of
cool.
my little mates, Matt, the guy that does the little Bruce Buffer impersonation. Have you seen him? He announces it sometimes. Have you
Oh,
seen that little
really?
dude that goes up and announces all the fighters? You haven't seen him? He's got the Bruce Buffer voice, but he's about this big. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
man,
yeah, you
yeah,
might have
listen.
seen him. You might have not. Listen, man, I was so happy to talk to you today. And I really appreciate you taking your time and coming onto the show. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we part at this podcast today? Is there anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, man, that's just for all the fans that been asking me for a long time. When am I gonna fight again? Who am I gonna fight? And I'm working on it. I'm trying to. I be hitting my managers every day, trying to get a fight. So for everybody that's been waiting for me to fight again, I know y'all been waiting for a long time, and just know that I'm gonna come out and ready and even better version of myself. It's been a year, and it's not like I stood the same. I've grown in a few different ways, and I just feel like the fight's gonna come soon. So as far as who it is, I don't know, and as far as when is like I'm waiting on them to give me an opponent or a date. So
Yeah, well, there you go. You heard it here, man. He's going to get back in there. And I know because I'm one of the people that wants to see him get back in there ASAP, but it'll happen when it's ready to happen. Daniel Rodriguez, D-Rod, thank you so much for coming onto the show today, brother. I really, really appreciate it. I'd love to have you on again sometime.
yeah, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for the whiskey and
The title?
the title, man. I appreciate it a lot.
You're welcome, brother. I appreciate you coming on. Well, there you go. Another one in the books. I'd like to say thank you very much to my sponsors, Manscaped, Tidal, Sport, of course, Crypto Corns, NFTs, fueled by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey. Thanks for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, tell your friends, help me grow. I can't do it without you. This is Marcus Deegan for the podcast. Take care. The Marcus Deegan Show. Let's go, man.